Flora. I've talked to community members who have also had concerns that the speed of the initial investigation was hampered by possibly some bias or prejudice, but you're saying that is not the case?
We weren't there. We've talked about what happened early on in the Flora case. It wasn't our best day. We talked about that. Again, I'll jump on the sword.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? Oh, I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? Oh, I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Oh, here in heaven. Oh, 'cause I don't belong here in heaven.
What is up, peeps? How are we doing today? Oh, excuse me. Good day here in Pennsylvania. Hold on one second. Almost got everything figured out. I at least figured out I'd be able to show you some stuff today. So I got some stuff to show you. Some talk, obviously. We'll chop it up on this whole situation with Flora and Delphi. Are they related? What could be the relations? And kind of go down there. We'll talk a little bit about yesterday. Documents dropping. This is not the channel to come to for legal advice. Let me say that because I read stuff and then I go back with people I trust and I ask them, hey, did I get this right? And they're like, no, you didn't read that right. So I leave that to the experts, but a lot's been going on. Let's say hi to everybody before we go on. Hi. Well, I guess I better read it to everybody in case some of you guys are listening. Yes, I do. Libby had a secret to tell Carrie per Carrie's interview. Abby was dating Holder's son. Holder was a Vinlander who hates black people. I think his son told Abby, who in turn told Libby. Well, I agree with some of that, with the Holder son, yeah, and they dated. They weren't just not like Holder said. They didn't just talk online. They were in the same town. Anna said that. She would only let him hold hands, kind of made a joke. 13, 14-year-old kids. We've all been there, right? As soon as parents ain't around, you sneak a kiss or whatever. That's the nature of little kids. However, I've said before, and I'll talk about this a little bit today with Holder and the guys. I don't think they were involved at all And one of the big things with Holder is remember, he's on video leaving work in his truck. So if that's not him, that he has to have someone doing that for him. One of the other things real quick about Holder, that's a good question, Hi. In an Anna Williams interview, if you go on my community page and you look, she shared one. It's the one where she said there was 40 to 50 people out there that day at various times. It's a very good interview. Happened early on. Herbert did it. Jason Herbert did the interview with Grotto. Grotto's his sidekick there. And what she said was she was pretty sure the girls didn't know who it was because she heard the entire audio, the 43-second audio. She heard that. And she said when the girls stopped, they didn't reply like they knew who the person was. No one ever saw him there or any of the Vinlanders. Some people said the Keebler Elf sketch, and I say the Keebler Elf sketch because I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a little skinny dude with like a hat. It looks, if you've seen the sketches that got leaked or released, however you want to say it. Some people thought that was Elvis Fields. I personally do not. But so one of my big problems with that is none of those people were ever seen there. The Purdue professor said it was amateur hour, and I'm paraphrasing here. It wasn't real Odinist or real Vinlanders. No one in law enforcement believes it was Odinist or Vinlanders, including Major Click, who's mentioned in the Franks motion. Now, he believes that Holder and them were still involved. So let me be very clear about that. He believes that, but he says no. There's no sacrifice. And I think that you're not going to hear too much about that anymore with the new defense. I believe it doesn't. Yeah, the Odin theory's been out. That the non-secular thing that I think Ives tried to do a good thing by saying that, but in the long run, he just, holy shit, did that dude stoke the flames. I give Ives credit because on Flora, he got help right away because he knew they were fucked. He knew they didn't know what they were doing, and he got help in about a week. But as we're going to talk about, a week might have been too late for the evidence, a lot of the evidence. So we'll get to that. But thank you for the question and the comment. Hi. Jill, what's up? Jinx, what's up? Listening and cleaning. I got to do that today. I didn't feel great yesterday, a little bit of a stomach. It wasn't my celiacs. I didn't eat anything. And I kind of laid around, and my girlfriend's making wings tonight. So obviously I feel better if I'm eating chicken wings. So I have to do some of that too, Jinx. So enjoy your cleaning while you listen. Boston Christian, what's up? Mother of all dragons, listening and working. We won't tell your boss, mother of all dragons, believe me. As people have shared information with me on about different things, and I appreciate it, they're like, hey, man, don't ever out me or anything. I'm like, I'm from the port. We will not fold under questioning. I'm also a big union guy. So what's up, Frank? Frank from across the pond. Danielle. Night Shadow, how are you? Juice, I saw you in a couple chats yesterday. There was a lot of good stuff on YouTube yesterday. Whatever theory you follow with Delphi and Richard Allen, we were all over the place. I was watching all kind of different people's things that they did. Shane, what's up? Yeah, Frank, it's getting cold. It's Pennsylvania, so I think this morning when I got up, I get up about 6. It was like 30 or 28 degrees, which it's going to be like that till like March. It sucks. But what are you going to do, right? People are like, oh, you have seasons. Well, I only like 2 of the seasons. You can have winter and fall back, and I'll take spring and summer. Kathy, what's up, Kathy? Kathy was on with me last time. Great friend of Galen and one of the biggest advocates for Flora, without question. I can't remember who it was. Was it you, Deb? Someone I commented, and I wanted to comment back. I only had time to like it. I actually ordered one of my coffee cups. I thank you for that. I'll have to share it. There's the fundraisers going on. Kathy and me are involved, and it's a Flora 4 Foundation. And what they did is they came up with some merchandise for different creators. And I think it's really cool because if you look at the creators that are on that list, and if you look at them and you say, what are their opinions on Delphi? They're all kind of like all over the place. But when it comes to Flora, everybody's together. And that's where we need to be. Everyone together, everyone on the same page. Take all this energy that we have from Delphi. And there's people saying, oh, this is going on. There's cops are lying, all this stuff. There's a good chance that this is happening in Flora. And I don't think the cops are lying anymore. I think people lied initially. People in that town lied. The Westfall interview tells you that. And listen, Westfall is a human being. He fought 2 tours. So if he wants to come back and be a racist, you can do that in this country. I don't agree with it, but go ahead and go for it. But what he said struck me in that Sleuth interview was this. Everybody in town knew what happened. I lived on the street. And I don't think he was lying about that part. I think they all just thought Galen did it. I think that's why the NAACP walked away. So NAACP in Indiana, Indianapolis, you got a white boy here asking you for your help. Because what you were told early on is bullshit. Okay? What you were told early on is bullshit. And I understand you need to step away and you got to protect your shield there a little bit. I get all that. But we need your help. We need you to come back. And we need the people to get loud about this. And we're not anti-police. You know, I'm not anti-police on any level. Work with them. My brother's an attorney general agent. But there was something that happened there early on that was covering up for whatever. I don't know what it was. It was for the killer. What was for the hatchet job that Dennis Randall did. Former cop, couldn't be a cop no more. Let him be a fire investigator. Whoop, you fucked that up too. You can't even do that anymore, right? So if there's justice in the world, he's selling newspapers somewhere for $1 a piece, or maybe he's delivering them on a bike with a cute little fucking satchel. But that's what happened. I don't want to start going off on that because it's infuriating. It's infuriating. But anyways, Just Deb, I think it was you. You actually bought a Coach Kev coffee mug. I think that was you. And that's awesome because when I talked to Meow and Kathy about it, I'm like, listen, I don't want any money from it. Give all the money to the Flora Foundation. I don't know what the other creators are doing or what they decided, but me personally, give it all to that. And I was like, who's going to buy my shit? Who's going to buy anything? But someone bought something. So I'm actually really flattered. But 100% of my proceeds that anyone that buys anything from there goes right to that foundation, which where it needs to go. Where it needs to go. Kathy, Meow. God, if I had my shit together, I'd have the link to share. Give me a minute. By the end of this, I'll try to share that. And there's some really cool stuff there. You know, there's, and again, I just want to, there you go, Frank. Stress that Delphi is different than Flora as far as the way that YouTube attacks it. I don't want to see Flora attack like Delphi's attacked because I don't want us to see us at each other's throats and fucking just shit going on everywhere. So look at the creators on there. We all have different feelings about Delphi and maybe other cases. But when it comes to Flora, we're all together. We might have different theories about what happened in the end, but we all know it needs justice, and we're all willing to work together on that case. And I'd love to see that with Delphi. But it's never going to be like that, unfortunately. Let's head it off with Flora. Let's not let it get to this point. They're going to argue Delphi till people don't breathe air anymore. Okay, that's what's going to happen. It's hard not to talk about when we're talking about Delphi and Flora. They had a rally yesterday. Some people show up, and the organizers of the rally were saying this is a constitutional thing. This isn't a Richard Allen thing. The optics from the outside looking in is that people were marching for an accused child killer. I don't think that they were. I don't think that that was their intention. But they need to understand from the outside looking in, this is what people were thinking. This is what people were saying. I give them credit, especially a couple of them that really traveled. They put their money where their mouth is, and they went there. And whether I agree with them or not on Richard Allen's guilt or innocence, I respect the people. Hey, I'm going to come and boom, here I am, boots on the ground. So I respect that. I disagree with what they think as far as the case goes, and I think as the case plays out, you're going to see that. I've already seen certain people backpedaling a little bit. Like they were maybe told, hey, maybe this is not the place you want to be. I don't know what happened or whatever. I don't want to make fun of anyone or anything like that. I mean, there's jokes, you know, people make jokes or whatever, and make lighthearted jokes. That's all good and all fine. But at the end of the day, you have to give credit to the people that traveled. I do. It would not be something that I'd want to be a part of personally. That's my personal opinion, because I think I'm about 75% on his guilt. And when these other things come out, and I think that there's at least 2 kill shots on Richard Allen. If I'm wrong, and a year from now I'll come back and I'll say, hey, guys, remember that live I did? I was full of shit. But I don't think I am. Ruckus shared, telling people, read this and read that. Yeah, read it. Read what they took, read what they were looking for, and read what they took. Why would they take that? Why did they look? Frank Meister said it last night. Why did they look at someone's property over and over and over again? Right? Did they find something there? What's going on? Are they involved? There was something left there. and it's all so convoluted. The only way we're all going to find out about this is in trial. As far as the Odinist thing, personally, I've said this before, I don't knock anyone for believing it, but it's not something that, if you research Odinism and if you research ritual kills, it's not what they do. White supremacists kill other white supremacists in prison, by and large. Not all the time, but by and large. Unless there was a deal, hey, there was a drug debt or something like that. The drug hit for Delphi, don't see it. That's not what happens. Hitmen that are professionals, they double tap you in the head and they walk away. They don't want to leave any evidence. It's not personal. It's business to them. And their psychology splits in two. And that's why some of these hitmen are so good. It's just business. It's like me going to work for 24 hours at the fire department. It's a shift. It's work. Them killing someone is work. So I don't think it was that either. And I don't base that with any evidence in the case. I just base that in backgrounds of killers and things like that. Okay. I'm going to get to some comments. We're going to talk a little. Oh, here it is. Honeybee. So there's the Flora store. You have, there's a lot of people in it. And again, I think it's really cool with Florida. We're all able to kind of put our Delphi feelings aside, or theories. You know, I don't think anyone in that group's at odds with anyone or anything like that. But, you know, I believe he's guilty. Other people in that organization believe that he's not guilty, and that's all fine. Flora, right? Flora's utmost. Our opinions will fall secondary. And I think it's really cool that Meow and Kathy got in and were able to do that. So let's check it out. And the Coach Kev stuff is 100% goes to the foundation. I don't want to take any money for that. Maybe one day it'll be Coach Kev shirts or something. I don't know if you people think that you would buy them. I don't know, but not right now. All that stuff's there. Yeah, Frank, I firmly believe that that's all going for a good cause. I put my name on it and I let him keep 100% profit. So I hope that speaks to how I feel about the organization, what they're doing there. There was some good, yeah, and Kathy and Meow came up with the stuff because I never would have been able to figure out how to do anything. No, Meow's kind of like back a little bit, but we're talking to her. I've talked to her recently. She's still working very hard on Flora, and me and her talk about Delphi because we kind of think different things. So we exchange ideas, and it's always fun to hear from her and what she has to say. Just Deb, if Kathy could maybe help with that, but I think it's like a month, maybe a little bit longer, Kathy, if you know how long it's going to be there. Hey, Kay Miller, I think it was you that's a Rudolph fan too. Rudolph was on last night. I like to share things like that on my true crime page too. Just Deb, I'm with you. I don't think he was alone, but I'll say this. My working theory is he was alone during the murders, but not afterwards. And that's kind of another theory. I know there's all kind of theories to go around, right? That's where I am right now. Personally. Doesn't mean I'm right. In the dark. Oh, wow, Shane. You have to send that to me. I'm interested to see that. I don't know what that would have been, what fire that would have been. Racism is never period. I don't care if you're a vet, janitor. No, that's okay. That's okay, Mandy Ray. Listen, I personally feel the same way you do about racist people. I've cut off ties to people on YouTube here because they're racist. And I've never come out and said, hey, this guy's a racist piece of shit. But there's people that I just won't talk to. I refuse to, and that's how I want to take it. At the end of the day, I think that everyone should be able to, as long as they're not threatening people or doing, if you want to be racist, that's fine. You know what? This is crazy. I don't want to offend anyone that lives in Idaho, but maybe we could just, if you're racist, you want to go live in Idaho, well, Idaho will be all white. Go live there. And I know that's not practical. And I know I say that half jokingly, but there is no place for it, Mandy. So no, absolutely. You can always speak your mind on my channel. And you're right. You're right. But, and I say this all the time. I was talking to someone, another creator before I came on today. I don't know if I said it to him or someone else I talked to yesterday because I'm old. And I do use marijuana as a, not as a chromoset, as a crutch, as medicine. And sometimes I forget where I put my keys. So it's one drawback for that. I mean, maybe you want more Mountain Dew than usual. But at the end of the day, whenever you, oh God, I lost my goddamn point now. Oh, John Douglas, one of my heroes. He went and he interviewed some of the worst killers ever, some of the worst human beings to ever walk the face of the earth. He acted like he was friends with them to get information to prevent other people like that from doing it. So I'm willing to do that too. I'm not going to talk to you on YouTube if you're racist, though. And if you know, I'm not going to out anybody or anything like that. But it happens. But you're 100% right, Mandy. It's never right. And I just read a study. I shouldn't say just a few months ago. Racist people, on average, are like 12 points lower on the IQ score. So they're literally dumb. It's not saying that like as a little kid. Racist people are literally dumber than average people who just don't care. You know, I like humans, most humans. You know what I really like? I like dogs. They kept looking because it was the only straw they had to grasp at. I'm not sure the context of that, Dave. I apologize. We have another comment up here I missed. So they would think they were marching. Oh, yeah. Okay. I got what you say. So here was Dave's first comment. Let me clarify that. Yes. I don't think they thought that either, Dave. Yeah, I don't think that they thought that. I think that they thought what they were doing was right. And I don't think, but from the way that people were taking it from the outside, that's how they see it. Right or wrong, right? Rick says that all the time. He gets that, I assume, from Eric Bischoff, Context is King, because I listened to Eric Bischoff's show. Eric Bischoff's an old wrestling dude. I think Snae's an old wrestling fan like myself too. And so you could do something for all the right reasons, but it's viewed outwardly as something it isn't. And at the end of the day, that narrative wins because, you know, within the context of that situation, people turn on the news. I don't know if it was on the news, and they say, oh, they're marching to free Richard Allen. If that's what the news puts at the bottom, that's what these people take and run with. Most people don't ever research or look back to say, hey, why were these people here? And I disagree with them wholeheartedly on Richard Allen's guilt and the police lying and this really, really big conspiracy. But they went and marched. I give them credit for that, especially the people that were from out of town. You know, if they had to fly in, I don't know where people were from. If they had to fly in or drive hours, that's commendable. I also commend the people that came to the Flora march. I wish I could have went this year and I couldn't. You know, that stuff matters. It does. It matters to me, and it tells me like that you're in this. You're all in on this, right? And I say that as someone that's never been to Indiana yet. I'll be going in the spring, but I do appreciate when people do that. But I see how people could take it that way. Oh, they're marching to free this child killer. Well, what do you have? What evidence do you have? I think those people were pretty sure else they want to put himself on the line like that. Because, you know, a year or two from now, if he's found guilty, people are going to come back and like, well, who was, this or that. So they believe in their heart of hearts they're right, and they're availing themselves to the democratic process. I hate to say the word democratic because there's no place in our government whatsoever. That's a story for another day. We can have another live about that. But the flag thing, I don't think anyone did that on purpose. I don't think anyone was disrespecting the American flag on purpose. I think it was just ignorance. And the only reason I know the flag code like I do is because when I first came on the fire department, the probee's job was to hang the flag every morning, take it down at night. We didn't have lights on it. It's not allowed to be flown at night without lights on it. There were certain days it's half staff, certain days it's all the way up. How do I know? Well, they told me there's a website. It's called halfstaff.org. And at any day you could go on there and see if the American flag's up. You could look at state flags if they're down. You can never, ever draw on an American flag. The Don't Tread on Me thing goes back to the American colonies. That was kind of like taken over by the right, the political right, using it, the Don't Tread on Me flag. That's from the American Revolution. Each part of the snake is a colony, join or die. Basically, if we don't stay together, they're going to kill us. It was like the whole, Ben Franklin actually published that flag in a Pennsylvania newspaper. I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it was Poor Richard's Almanac. And he put that flag in there. You can't write on the American flag. There's so many rules about the American flag, you never know, right? You can't wear it as clothes. It's all considered disrespectful. Now, legally, I think you can burn the flag, which is whatever. I don't know. I think that they ruled that. But, at the end of the day, people are going to look and say, you're here, you're at a constitutional march, you're pushing the Constitution, which is good, which people shouldn't know the Constitution more because by and large, we don't know it. You're doing that, but you're also disrespecting the flag for the same country. And I think it was out of ignorance. I don't think we're going to come out here and we're going to disrespect the flag. or we're going to fly it upside down, which means distress or, basically fuck you. And that's not what happened. But when that's pointed out, a fact's a fact. And if you didn't know that, you shouldn't wear any clothing as a flag. It shouldn't be ever used as a ceiling cover. I actually can share the thing. I have a screenshot of it, but that's my 2 cents on that. But people put their money where their mouth was there. I have a level of respect for that. I don't think we could disagree more on what happened in Delphi personally, but at the end of the day here, they're coming from all around and they're marching, and I'm sure they wanted more people, but whatever's whatever. So it tells me 2 things too. It tells me that the minority is very vocal and the majority is kind of being silent. And if you watched last night, some of the YouTube guys really, like let loose, and it was like, hey, I've had enough and this is how I feel. And it's good. It's good for people to vent like that and to get out there. So David, I hope I answered that question. And I didn't think that they were, but the perception is that if you were on YouTube last night, that's what everybody thought. And even some local Facebook groups that I belong to from Indiana, because I like to just be involved in everything, they were talking about it too. And it was, I don't think that's what they were doing. That's my opinion. And I'm sure that they would tell you the same thing, but we just, we could differ. It's okay to differ. Yeah, Kathy, what was taken from the home? Taken from the Flora home? Well, Kathy, they didn't really document anything. So anything is absolutely possible. That was one of the things that they really screwed the pooch on, the investigative process early on. That house has to be just it's the fire when it catches on fire. This is Pennsylvania. We're a common law. When your house catches on fire, we take over your house. You don't own your house anymore when it's on fire. It's an emergency and it can affect your neighbors. So we take ownership of your house. We put the fire out. Once we put the fire out, we turn it over to law enforcement. And here it's Allegheny County Fire Marshal. And remember, I live in a county of probably, a couple million people. We're the second biggest county in Pennsylvania outside of Philadelphia. It's where Pittsburgh sits. So there's a huge city and suburbs and shit like that. We put the fire out. The fire marshal takes control of that house. No one comes in and out of that house, including the homeowners. There'll be times where the homeowners need to go in and get medication or something. And you go up to the deputy, hey, they have medicine in the fridge. And it was like, you go get it for them and bring it out. We don't want them to be in there. Everyone's a suspect early on in a fire. You think maybe the person that lives there is one of the first suspects, unless they're sleeping and it gets somebody outside or something, which was what happened in Flora. That mudroom in the back was where it came from. Well, thank you. 1 month. So 1 month for that close on the store, guys. 1 month for the close on the store. So there you go. Clothes, mugs, they have all kind of cool stuff. Oh. 30,000? I must be reading that wrong, Frank. If not. Although the way things are in our country, Frank from across the pond, your money's probably worth a lot more than the American dollar. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff. Not that big into money. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's his middle name. Patrick, or maybe Patrick is his middle name. I just thought it was Pat Westfall. Could be wrong. I don't know. But Sleuth does a really long interview with him. Actually, he does too. And again, you have to watch people maybe that you don't like. Yeah. Well, hi. I understand why they were there, in my opinion. I wouldn't have marched there because the optics of that are that you're marching for him. But I also would disagree with you, Hi, that his rights were violated. I don't think that they are. We'll see what the Supreme Court has to say. But I agree with you. And I don't think that's why those people were there. But you need to understand from the outside looking in, that's what people think they were there for. They don't know the nuts and bolts of the case. And to be honest with you, most people won't even look into it. But that's the narrative that's going around. And I think, in my opinion, that's probably why a couple people didn't show up. I don't talk to people. I don't know. No one says, hey, I'm not going to go because of this. But in my opinion, maybe that's why a couple people didn't show up. You know, they're kind of like, wow, this could look really bad. But at the end of the day, maybe people that went thought that this could look bad too. But in their heart of hearts, they thought it was a good cause. I'm all for that. I'm all for people to protest and march, even if I disagree with you. But the optics, the way that they're shared, you know, it's going to be what people look on the outside in. Hey, Phoenix, how are you? You may feel it's ridiculous, but I'm just telling you how it's being viewed. I don't think you were there for Richard Allen's innocent. I don't think people purposely desecrated the American flag, but they did, and they didn't know. I get it. You know, I don't think it was done on purpose, but you need to understand what's being talked about in the discords, what's being talked about from everywhere else. And that's the optics of it, is that it was an innocence march for Richard Allen. Personally, I don't think it was. I was invited to it. Someone emailed me and invited me to it with all the details and everything. And it's not my thing. I wasn't going to go because I think the guy's guilty, 75%. But I didn't share with anybody or anything like that. But that's what that's the kickback to it. That's the clapback to it. So, you know, I don't know. I don't, you know, you could be upset with me for saying it, but it's just what's being thought from that march, from what happened yesterday. And I don't want to get too much into the march because it's not my thing to promote. I'm not going to knock it. It's something I chose not to do it. I mean, I live 7 hours away, so it's like I live right there, but I wouldn't have went to it because I think that what they're alleging has happened hasn't happened. So we disagree on that fundamental point, all these things that have happened. And watch the defense diaries. I watched them this morning from last night, and someone said, Bob, your tone has changed and you're backing up. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not. And I like their show a lot. And what Bob said last night is he was pretty clear. He's like, I'm not saying Richard Allen's guilty or innocent. I'm saying that, you know, the court things need to be followed. Then we'll make our decision down the line. So that's not backpedaling, but he was really up. But then later he went on court TV and basically said the judge did this, the submarine things or whatever. And I enjoyed him on court TV. A couple other people were on. There was an Odinist lady on with a red shirt. The murder sheet was on. And then Chris Todd came on. And for me, that's just, I got to change the channel. So I didn't see what happened after that. But that's my personal opinion. I didn't see Abby and Libby's name on the flag. I saw Rossie's and Baldwin's in the picture that I had. But you can't write anything on the flag. That's per flag code. I was never in the Boy Scouts, but people tell me Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you're taught that. They teach you how to get rid of it, the ceremony, how to fold it. You burn them whenever they're tattered and things like that. I didn't see their name on the flag. But it's the you know, if you're there, the people that went there, in their mind, they're protesting the constitutionality and things like that. And I believe that that's what they were there for, in their minds and their hearts. This is what we're there for. But it wasn't explained. I mean, it wasn't explained, or it wasn't whatever. The people they're going to like, this is a Richard Allen innocence march. That's the way it's picked up and it's carried now, you know? So right or wrong, that's how it's being viewed. And I think we all have seen that's how it's being viewed. But I don't think that the flag desecration wasn't we're burning a flag in the streets because we hate this country thing. I think it was an ignorance thing. They just didn't know. But when people say you're there marching for the Constitution and you desecrate the flag, how do you not know one or the other? It's tough. It's tough. You know, it's tough to do. But I will give credit to people that, especially people who came from out of town. You know, they put their money where their mouth was at. So whether we agree or not, doesn't matter. I could still, you know, say, hey, that was a pretty cool thing. Frank Meister, what's up? All right. Spent a little more time on the March thing than I wanted to, but that is okay. Art of Deduction, thanks for the donation. Miranda Lee, it's common knowledge how to treat a flag. Oh, I didn't see Abby Libby. Richard Allen's name was really on a flag. I didn't see that. I saw that I must have only saw one side of it then, the picture that I got. Wow. Now, you know, it's a free country. It's a free country. Now, yeah, if that's, and I have no reason not to believe you, Miranda Lee, but if that's Abby's Lindy's name or next to Richard Allen's on the flag, you know, if you're there and you were there for good reason, you can't get upset with people that thinks this was a Richard Allen Innocence March. I mean, the optics, if that's, you know, I mean, woof, my own. But free country, and again, I will say to the people that from the outside that came in, I give them credit, but we just disagree. Parent of the century. Well, that flag, we've had different flags. That's a whole story. That's a YouTube that someone could do. It would probably take 8 hours. I know a little bit about it because was forced to learn about it, but there's a whole lot of flag history. We're not going to deep dive that. It's a lot. Oh, wow. Look at that. You're from across the pond and schooling me on some GW stuff. Appreciate it. Gail, we talked about this yesterday. You shared this. We were in someone's live, and that's the thing. Then the states have laws, but at the end of the day, they'll charge people, but they won't prosecute them. Does that make sense? That's not just Indiana. It's weird. It's very, very weird. But I did read that when you put that up last night. Whatever, I don't even remember what chat it was in because we were in so many different chats. All right. Thank you for all the comments. Everybody's great in here. Yeah, well, David, if you were there or do you support the march, then I'm the kind of person that was like, I don't really care what anyone else thinks about me. So if you're there and you're, you know, or supported it, then don't worry about it. But I'm just saying how it's coming off to people, So the only other thing I would say is if you do it again, or, you know, just be, you know, I've never been to a protest and I'm not an activist. So maybe I'm not the guy to give advice, but, you know, be a little more clear. Hey, this is what we're here. And, you know, don't, you know, carry the flag. Carry the flag, right? Carry it on a stick. Carry it. That's fine. Just don't, you know, do what you do. But as you go around YouTube today, you're going to see that from people, and saw it last night. David, people do desecrate the flag every day. Absolutely, they do. I just don't see too many people doing it at marches for the Constitution. Usually, it's a group that's a little extreme and they're very anti-government or anti-whoever's in office at the time. In my experience, I'm no expert on how people burn flags or anything. No, it's okay, Hi. And again, the flag thing, I don't know those people and I don't talk to them that were there, but I don't think that their intention was to disrespect the flag. But yeah, you write Richard Allen's name with Libby and Abby on the flag. The optics are the optics. I mean, I'll tell you what I think about it, and everyone else can tell you what they think about it. But I'm going to tell you that they're going to say almost the same thing, and it's you know, I'm not sure, Deb. I know that there's people that live close that weren't there for whatever reason. I don't know what their reasons were. You know, I don't know. I don't know really the whole organization and how everything broke out. The email I got was just inviting me, hey, and I don't even know who sent it or how they. I say my email all the time, but it was from a person that I don't even know. But again, I wrap back to the Flora 4 stuff, the website. So you have all the creators in there. They have their stuff. We're on Delphi, and I'm like over here, and some creators are over here. Maybe one's here and one's here. But on the Flora 4 website and on Flora, that's over here. Delphi's over here. Flora's here. Flora's here. We're going to work it like this. We're going to do this with all talents. People are talented. Those folks are talented people. And just because you disagree with someone on a case, you should not acknowledge their talent and how good they are at making videos and things like that. Kathy, I heard the chants and I saw the email, but outside of me seeing that email, it doesn't appear to people that there was anything Flora related about that. And I heard them chanting. Listen, I heard them chanting. Again, I saw not the plan, but I saw the email. But all these other people on YouTube haven't seen it. And someone actually emailed me yesterday and said, do you think that this is bad for Flora, that they're linking this to a Richard Allen protest? And in the email, it's a person I actually know. Well, I don't know them, but I know them from YouTube. And in the email, I actually explained to them that this is not a Richard Allen protest because this is a constitutional thing, blah, blah, blah. But I understand why you think that, why it's coming off that way. And no, I don't think it was bad for Flora. I don't think anything's bad for Flora. If people ever want to play my videos on their YouTube channel about Flora, I will never strike you, ever. I don't give a fuck. Get the word out. Get the information in front of people. Get it in their ears. Get it in their eyes. And a couple of things here I'm going to show you. Some of you have never seen. And if anybody wants a ton of information, kevlar148hotmail.com. I don't care who you are. You don't have to say, I'm going to take this information. I don't care what you do with it. I want you to see it and go through it, because maybe all these, last, whatever it's been for me, 16 months or whatever, since I've researched this, even before I had a channel, I'm not seeing something. And if I could get this out in front of 50 or 100 more people, maybe one of them are going to see it. And I don't care who sees it. I don't care if some guy in jail sees it and helps solve, the shirt back here. That's the thing for me. So that's where I'm at. And that's why the video that I did was specific today. Very, very strong, touching song. But I wanted to get back into, and I wanted to be very clear that I support the families of Delphi and Flora. Someone, got called a mouthpiece for the Flora families last night in a live. And he took it as a compliment, as would I. Why are we against the families? If you have evidence, the families are involved, send them to me, send them to the police. But that's not going to happen because nobody does. Nobody does. So there's people in Delphi that are accusing the families, or the families have something to do with it. And then on Flora, when people accuse Galen, which is absolute horseshit, they lose their minds. Wait a minute. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Families aren't involved in any of this shit. They're dealing with it, and it's sad. And, you think of it's your kid, your grandkid. And, you're there. You're the Patty family. You're the Williams family. And they were probably a little more informed on the protest than most people. So maybe they weren't like, oh, my God, they're marching for Richard Allen, because they probably have seen, or they were told, hey, there's people that are going to do this, and they were doing it because of the Sixth Amendment, blah, blah, blah. My only take on the legal stuff, on the legalese, is if they resign, there's no Sixth Amendment. There's no Sixth Amendment issue because they resigned. So did they resign? Did they not resign? But I will leave that to the attorneys, the prosecutors, the defense diaries. And there's been about 7 other defense podcasts that have popped up that are out covering Delphi. So you do the math on that one. No, David, I don't think you should, but can you show me where Richard Allen's rights were violated? No one has been able to show me that. And I'm not saying, oh, the judge this. Show me on paper where they were violated at. Because no one's really even saying, the only thing they're saying is the Sixth Amendment, that he has the right to keep that counsel. But show it. I haven't seen it. Unless maybe you've seen more than I have, but I haven't. So I don't think he's been violated at all. I don't think the police lied. The Franks motion said the police lied, okay? So defense attorneys said that the police lied. That probably happens 1,000,000 times a day in America. They said that the police lied. I haven't heard the interviews that they did under deposition. So I can't say if they lied or not. My guess is they didn't lie. My guess is the defense is going to say, well, we took it and we kind of, maybe he said this, maybe he didn't say that. And when it comes back in the Supreme Court, and I don't know a lot about the courts, but even Bob Motta said last night, Motta wants to be a star. I think Motta is a star. Motta's I like him. He's energetic. He got good energy with his wife. I disagree with him on this case. They know a lot more than me, but some of the things are a little bit. I would like to see Bob Motta practice in court because he's probably really, really like on the edge of your seat type guy. So I enjoy that a lot. But even what he said yesterday is there's a good chance, or I saw it this morning, I think it was yesterday, that the Supreme Court's going to kick us back because they didn't follow the procedure the right way. So they're not even going to listen to the argument because whatever was kiboshed in the procedure. So when let's assume the Supreme Court kicks it back. Let's just say, for instance, we can't do anything. You're on your own. Is the Supreme Court then involved in a conspiracy too? Like, where does it end at? Where does it end? So are those justices now involved with Dan Dolan, who 7 years ago decided that he was going to frame Richard Allen? Because if Richard Allen is being framed, it started 7 years ago. And they waited 6 years to arrest him. And here's a guy that we have no known violence against women history. And guys, that is the one thing about Richard Allen is guilt that fucks with me. There has to be, in my opinion, history against violence against women of some way, shape, or form. Maybe he hasn't, we don't see it, but usually those things come up. So if I have that history of violence against women, I'm probably at 90%, but I'm at 75 because I don't have that. I don't have that. Richard Allen has no alibi. None. Okay? The Franks motion spelled out a lot of things and fringe theories. I don't think that, the Odinist thing, when it became a sacrifice, come on. That's a bridge too far. But if you want to say Odinist did it for whatever reason, I can walk down that path with you for a while because that is not an out of this world idea. The sacrifice, the bloodletting, the blow, to me, that's just, I can't find one since the 13th century. So if someone else has one, and I've talked to someone and I told someone that, they had a great response. And they were like, well, they were overdue then. That was their response to me. And I couldn't even answer them. I said, well, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were overdue for a bloat or whatever. He writes the letter to the judge or to the court or whoever the fuck he wrote it to. And not one time in that letter does he say he's innocent. And they're like, well, he didn't have an attorney then. You need an attorney to tell you that you're innocent when you're being accused of slaughtering 2 little girls? No, no, no. You stand up and you scream from the mountains, I'm innocent. That's what innocent people do. That's what they do. So take it for what it's worth. That's my opinion on it. Evidence aside, the actions. In that Franks memorandum, they never list an alibi. And they're like, well, his time was different. What he said in the Franks memorandum to his attorneys, they're going to blow it out of the water with the witnesses. Remember the witnesses? They have the time. They have the timeline. Multiple witnesses have the timeline because they can line everyone up. They can line up the cars to the store and whatever other evidence they have. Is there trail cams? Is there other things? Did one of these witnesses, did Betsy Blair positively identify Richard Allen? She did the sketch before the fucking clothes description was out. That's why I think she's taken a lot more. The lady on the bridge is taken a lot more credible than the Muddy Bloody lady or whatever. And I think Ali takes it that way too. I really do. I think they say, well, we have 2 witnesses. The defense may maybe knock out the Claire Ball lady, but we have her up here. She gave the description before the picture was shown on the bridge. And did she positively ID Richard Allen? I don't know. We don't know. You know who knows? Law enforcement knows, the people that work the case, the prosecution, and the new defense team, or maybe the old defense team, depending on when they've handed that discovery over. November 1st was the deadline for discovery. So we shall see. We've been really talking Delphi. I want to talk about possible links because maybe all these people that are, let's see. Yep, David, that when I came on the job, now you're talking 2002. So I was working with guys. And most of the people when I came on the job were in the service because our city was like 70,000 people. Now we have about 25,000. So you couldn't even get hired unless you had service points. Dudes were getting like 120s on the test. I'm sure you understand how that works. And that's how they did things. Light, if there wasn't a light, it had to come down at night, inclement weather. And they didn't tell you to do it. You just had to do it. But boy, if you forgot to do it, if it got dark at 9 o'clock and it was 10 after 9, and you didn't have that flag down, that deputy would be over there standing by the door just looking at the flag. Oh, shit. I forgot the flag. You'd run out, bring it down. And that's the only reason I know about the etiquette of the flag. I never knew that until I became a fireman. I never, ever knew that. But again, I just want to say again, I don't think that those people were disrespecting the flag. I don't think they were taking it there because they were there for the Constitution. So, you know, you love the country, you just don't understand the flag etiquette. That's what, in my opinion, if I could surmise it, I think that's what happened. But if people take them to task on it, you know, it is what it is. It was our rights, the Constitution. Yeah. Well, Tina, I agree that that's probably why people were there. And again, I got an email inviting me and it kind of laid all that out. But you need to understand that people from the outside looking in are not all gonna see it that way, especially with things like Richard Allen's name written on the American flag. You're just not gonna see it that way. So we'll just have to I don't disagree with you. I wouldn't go to something like that because I have to see the proof that all this shit happened. The Frank's memorandum isn't enough for me. You know, at the end of the day, where's the rubber meets the road? Yeah, well, Matt, he's not going to get no more emails from Judge Gall. She's not going to respond to any of her emails after he was on the thing last night, the the court TV. Because he took it to her. Honeybee, there you go. Honeybee does great stuff, Billy the Kid stuff. It is a long history, and I never knew it at all to the fire department. And I probably know half of it. But there's a story for everything. There's a reason for everything on the flag. It's a little bit cool, but it's a lot. So if you're taking that task, pack a lunch because there's a lot there. Mott is a defense attorney, right? If Mott comes out and says he thinks Richard Allen guilty, Mott is not going to have any more cases. I agree with you. Ruckus, did you watch him yesterday? Do you think he backed up a little bit? Just a little bit. And he's a skilled orator, so it's hard to tell. I enjoy their show a lot. I do. I don't get mad either because I think they're wrong. I'm like, well, he's going to be a court TV star, Mama Wolverine. He might be already. I think he has a lot of energy. Yeah, that was high. That's what I was talking about too with Gail. And what I read last night is states will still have statutes against it. Like you can't do it. But at the end of the day, they might charge someone, but they always toss it out. That's our justice system. Airdrop. There you go. No, I have. God, if anyone airdropped anything to me or asked me to airdrop, I would. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't even know if I can do it. No. You guys know I'm Barney Rubble when it comes to that. Yes, B, please. One more time. Appreciate it for the Flora stuff. Never seen half Gadsden in my life. No, it was an American flag, Phoenix. Have you seen the pictures? It was an American flag. Yeah, and you can't put anything on it. I could share the hold on a second. I might be able to share the flag code picture here that I took of some of it. But yeah, it's considered, if this was prior to the 1908 to that court ruling, they could have been fined. I don't think you get arrested for it, but you could have been fined for it. Give me 1 second. But it's that that argument there, you don't have an argument because it's considered desecration of the flag. And again, I'm not saying, I don't think that they did it on purpose. I don't think they probably didn't know that, you know, but it is, there's no gray area here. So I'll put that in my email too when I show you this other document I want to show you. I don't know half Gadsden. I'm not sure what that means. Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix. Oh God, I'm an idiot. I was reading your name different. Phoenix. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what the half Gadsden thing is. But it was an American flag spray painted. Yeah. I think that's what I said, isn't it? I mean it as a good thing. Hey, Brazil. How are you in Brazil? Bet it ain't snowing down there. Bet your arthritis isn't killing you. If you always do sloppy work, you don't have a date that conspiracy starts. The conspiracy is always Indiana. The lowest conviction rate. Yeah, well, yeah, you can, yeah. Their conviction rate, their murder, I think I'm talking about the murder, solving of murders is the lowest. Maybe overall conviction rate too, but I know the solving of murder. Was it sloppy? Yeah, me and you could agree it was sloppy, but it's not a conspiracy, in my opinion. Do people want to cover their asses? Yeah, but I don't think that they're making Richard Allen a fall guy to cover their asses. I think they're just trying not to talk about what they did early on and fucked up. And if you watch the beginning of my video here on Flora, with Doug Carter admits it wasn't our best days. They fucked up Flora. They fucked it up. I always said, and this is what I mean when I say that the LE bumbled this publicly. You come out and you say, listen, we made mistakes early on. Let's move past those mistakes. We're looking for more information. Don't hide it. Don't cover it up. Don't be Tobe Lesenby in that interview with Hannah Shakespeare where he doesn't even know how to respond when he mentions Libby's mom. Like, you look like an asshole. So people that have the conspiracy theories, listen, there is plenty of ammunition. And I think that they could have nipped all this in the bud. Whether they knew it was Allen or not, whatever they knew, they could have nipped all this in the bud. They could have gave more information. They could have said what kind of car it was. And I think that's on them. And I hope that they've learned from it, at least. I don't know if they have or not. If you look at Flora, maybe they haven't learned from it. Allen not professing is in it. It's if you're into the psychological and the criminal stuff, it's a huge deal that he didn't do that. It doesn't mean he's guilty. That piece of evidence doesn't mean he's guilty. But I hold on to that, and I hold on. Even the defense team that came up with an owed sacrifice couldn't give him an alibi because he doesn't have an alibi. He could say he was there for whatever time he wants. The Hoover Harvest Store video shows his car, right? The witnesses are going to give the times. They're taking pictures with metadata. So that the timeline of Allen arriving or Bridge Guy arriving, if he's not Allen, that's all there. Once they go down the hill and after the bridge, I believe, the 3 o'clock thing and all that, but I don't feel as strong about that as I do the other stuff because I just don't know. At the end of the day, when the coroner's report is talked about in court or released or however they do it, they'll know within probably minutes of when they were deceased. And again, I haven't seen any pictures. No one sent me any, which I'm fine with. Didn't want it. I mean, if they would have came, I'd have looked at them for like an investigative thing, but it probably would have felt really weird. But the mechanism of death doesn't sound like they would have been able to have been alive, But that's just that's a guess from somebody. Chopper, all kind of people in here today. Delphi, Tina, I agree with you 1,000%, 1,000%. I think that the law enforcement and the way they handled this publicly, they should have just sent Kim Riley out there and said, Kim, just go talk, because he gave us a ton of information early on, a ton. And they could have headed all this off. They absolutely could have headed all this off. Absolutely. Yep. Now we got some soccer talk going on. But anyways, there's a couple of things that I want to show you here before we get out of here. We've talked for an hour. I was the fastest hour, I think, of my life. Phoenix, I'm not sure what you mean. It's a made-up flag. I'm not sure. Well, was that you in the comments that said that last night, Ruckus? Because I'm a little bit behind. He's like, no. I haven't changed my tenor. I pay a lot of attention to the way people talk and their actions. I thought he did before someone said that. That's just my opinion. But he's good. I like him. I like him a lot. And I think he's going to be a star. And you should give that guy his own show. What's up, Rescue All the Dogs? No problem. I think Bob Motta should have his own show. I'd watch it. Even if every single person that came on the show he said was innocent, I would still watch it. I still would watch it. In a heartbeat. I would like it. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, Dave, the Odinist guards, this is another piece of the thing where I say if people could run wild with shit, those guys that wore Odinist patches that are guards are complete and utter fucking morons. Morons. Your religious shit doesn't come in here, right? We run a prison. Christianity, Muslim, Jewish, don't care what you are. When you leave here, You can go to synagogue, you can go to mass, you can kneel, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But while you're here, you're a prison guard and you're an employee of the state. They're foolish for that. They're foolish for that. They opened the door maybe to this Odinist thing, or at the very least, if they were going to run with the Odinist thing anyway, they could say, look, there's more here. Look, there's more here. They're doing this to him. Are they beating him up? I probably are, but I think they're beating him up because he's accused of being a child killer. And is that fair and right because he's not adjudicated guilty? No, it isn't. It's not, but it's reality. Phoenix, if it was an American flag, can you tell me what it was? Because it certainly looked like an American flag with spray paint on it. And I don't want to get dredged down into details, Phoenix. I guess I could just say Phoenix. But yeah, I understand you're there and you want to clarify it, but the flag code's the flag code. And again, I'm not saying that anyone did that on purpose to desecrate the flag. I think it was just an ignorance thing. You can't write anything on an American flag. And if that's not an American flag, maybe you could show me a picture or email me a picture of what it was, because to me, it certainly looks like an American flag. Spray painted. Hickory switch. Did the conspiracy at Flora start when the fire ignited or when no one showed up when they went to court? No, David Gray. In my opinion, the conspiracy in Flora started as soon as the fire went out. If you can follow me on that, meaning the immediate investigation and aftermath of the investigation was a cover-up of some sort for somebody, and I don't know who. I have a couple theories and a couple documents I'm going to show you here, but I don't know who. I think that's where that started night one. And when the Indiana State Police got in there, it was a week later. It was fucked. I think it was fucked from the beginning. That's my personal opinion on it. I think that they just screwed the pooch. And I think that some of the things that are alleged to be happening in Delphi are happening in Flora. I really, really believe that. And I would be willing to take anyone to task, whether they're firefighters or law enforcement officers, because something there is way, way wrong in the initial stages of the investigation. How long can you guys, Principal David? Because it's not Odinism. I don't think it's Odinism. No one in law enforcement thinks it's Odinism. Major Click, who is in the Franks memo, who's quoted in the Franks memo, does not think it's Odinism. He believes that the Hillbilly Three are involved, but it's not Odinism. It's just not Odinism. We could go down rabbit holes on it, but you're not sacrificing that. And I don't know. You can believe it. I don't believe it. Here's the flag. Did you send it to me? Did you email it, Phoenix? Because I don't think you could post pictures in the chat. So if you tried to post a picture in the chat, you're not able to do it. Who's he supposed to confide in? Jinx. Oh yeah, I saw the pictures too. Yeah, I believe it's American flag. It's you could tell there's certain things that if you're into the flag stuff, and I'm not into it greatly, that you can look at right away, and I think that's what it is. Yes. Well, I think everyone agrees with that, Gail. I really do. Most people do. That they agree with it, and then it's just who is it? Who is it? Is it Alan? Is it Moore? Is it not Alan? Is it a bunch of other people? And that's where the bumping of the heads come in at. So I'm sorry, Miranda. What was your question? I apologize. I'm going to get these documents up here. We're having a great chat today. I do not believe the world is flat. Is that what your question was? I don't know. I could be wrong about that too. I've never really went down that rabbit hole. But it posted again. I apologize. Well, right now, just a DUI, a seatbelt violation, and that we know of, nothing. So David Rogers, on the flip side of that, if you're the police department, why would you frame Richard Allen, a guy that doesn't have any criminal history? That's the one thing about Richard Allen that fucks with me, Dave, is that we don't, maybe he does, I don't know. The FBI certainly thought he was some kind of serial killer, the way that the scene was set, assuming he's the guy that did it. Now, they wrote the warrant for Logan, but they said this, in the past, this is what can happen. But so on both sides of that coin, it doesn't make any sense. Richard Allen has no history, violence against women. And why would the police pick a guy that has no history or violence against women? So I don't know. That one's tough for me. I've said that before. Gail Hurd, absolutely right. Jail guard should have nothing religious on, nothing, no matter what their religion is. It doesn't matter. Give me a second here. I will send that up too. So I'm going to get into my my email here, hopefully, and I do it right. Questions are fantastic. We're already over an hour, and I haven't even showed you anything I wanted to show you yet. They have terrible track records. So why don't you put them in? Why don't you frame them? Why would you frame Richard Allen? But what Holder does have is video proof that the day of the accident, he was pulling out of work in a truck. So no one said they saw Holder there. Richard Allen puts himself there. You look at certain things, you got to look at everything and look at the preponderance of it all. All right, let me switch this up and let me show you some pictures. There's a couple of things I want to show you. And this podcast today was kind of supposed to be about the similarities of Delphi and Flora, or are they linked, or that type of situation. Let me make sure that we are in the right thing here, because I have some police interviews from the Flora fire. Pretty interesting stuff. Give me 1 second. And let me make sure. All right. Make it a little bit bigger, because I've suddenly learned how to do that without screwing it up, I believe. So this here is the fire, kind of the police issues and the reports and the things that they do. General information here, okay? Not really. Hold on a second. Make it a little smaller. And let me drag her down. I have the worst time moving these darn things down. Come down, document. Here we go. Sorry, it was a different one. So you have like a narrative. I'll send this to anybody that wants it too. These are people then that did like kind of like interviews. These are like the notes from the police interviews. All right. Make it a little bigger. Now that we know how to move it down. I want to point you to two. God damn it. Sorry, guys. I'm a goof. Two interviews from people. Miss Virginia Martin. And again, I got to be clear. I don't think this is an insurance job. I've never seen insurance jobs where professionals, we call them professionals, where they will come in and they'll do an arson for profit. There's never anybody home. Okay. So let's just read. Virginia comes in on her own accord. And this is public information. Remember, there's no gag on a Flora case, guys. None. On evening of Wednesday, November 30th, 2016, approximately 6 o'clock, Officer Randall Larimore told me that Virginia Martin had come to the Flora Police Department at approximately 3:43 p.m. and wanted to share information. So the cop relays this at 6 o'clock. He talks to the lady about 3:45. Officer Larimore stated Virginia wanted me to report she had picked up her son Clifford Martin yesterday around noon, and he told her information that she wanted to relay to law enforcement. Virginia said Clifford told her that he had spoken to Troy Helderman, and Troy claimed he had stuffed newspapers into electrical receptacles in the past to start fires to collect insurance monies. Virginia stated she found this very disturbing as Clifford told Virginia that Helderman possibly owned the residence, blah, blah, blah. So it's just an odd thing, isn't it? And then the gray smoke. When you hear the interview, the Anthony Gray, I think that's his name, where he's talking, the gray smoke, that's electric burn. And that's what it tells me. I thought that was interesting. But let me get to something else here, because I think what Flora is a cause arson. By cause, I mean a religious cause, a jilted lover, something like that. Miss Jennifer Barnes, she's currently in jail for murder. Not this murder, but another one. I could send this to anyone that would like it. Again, no gag here. Okay, Colton Creasy. Colton Creasy and Galen had a very short maybe thing. Kathy talked about this a little bit. And Colton, to me, was he a jilted lover? I'm not sure. But I think he thought more of the relationship with Galen than what Galen did. Okay? So I just want to read through his interview here because I find it very interesting. And then I'm going to come back to the chat and see what you have to say. So if you guys are asking questions, I can't see it at the moment because I'm Barney Rubble when it comes to technology. So just bear with me. I met with Colton Creasy at the Flora Police Department. I asked Colton to wait up front while I contacted Flora's Assistant Fire Chief Todd Trent. For the purpose of this report, Assistant Fire Chief Todd Trent will be referred to by his first name throughout the report. Now, here in Pennsylvania, I don't think we would ever have a fire chief interviewing someone at a homicide investigation. I think that would be all police and that would be county fire marshals. Did Todd Trent do some fire marshaling too? Whatever, but it's odd. That initially is odd to me. But let's get into the interview. Todd asked Colton if he would mind being recorded. Colton said it was fine. I explained to Colton that the door to the interview room is open and he's not under arrest. And if he feels he needs to leave at any time, he can. Colton said he understood. Todd explained to Colton that the objective of this interview is to find out what took place at Galen's residence the night of the fire. Todd confirmed with Colton he knew Galen was involved with her. Colton advised he knows Galen, the 4 children, and the father. Galen's father, Tracy. Colton stated that he had gotten to know the family. Todd asked Colton how that is. Colton said he got to know Galen through mutual friends. Colton told us he had gone to the Marathon one day, and this conversation struck up. Galen worked at the Marathon gas station in the town there. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Come down just a hair. Come on. Let me get this where we need to be. All right. Once Todd entered, Todd introduced himself, blah, blah, blah. Todd asked Colton, yeah, we covered that already. Sorry, guys. Why is it so hard to stop it? Okay. Todd asked Colton about a relationship. So, yeah, they had the relationship or whatever. We don't need to rehash that. You guys could see that. Todd asked Colton how long the relationship had been going on. Colton said maybe a month and a half. Colton stated he just met her. Not real god-awful long ago. I asked him to be more specific. Colton said maybe 2 months tops, okay? Now, this is Colton, in my opinion, kind of being full of shit because that's not what he thought. I think he thought there was something more than Galen thought. So at this point, Colton's sketching the kitchen for them. He explained it because the inside of the house is burned. Todd told Colton it would help understand. So the inside of the house is burned. So they just want him to see how much he knows about the house. They know what the house looks like. They know the schematics of it. And so they're going to have him draw. They're going to get him writing here, which is smart. Get him writing. And if you're ever a suspect or if you didn't do anything, the cops are asking you to write, don't write anything. I interrupted Colton and asked, draw each room on a separate page. So Colton did that. At one point, Colton asked Todd if he knew the location of the microwave, the coffee pot, or Todd asked Colton, I apologize. So he knew a lot of places. Colton started placing a list of items he recalled being in the kitchen above the sketch. Colton had bragged about being very aware of his surroundings and that he is blessed with his ability, Colton said. I have a vivid memory. Okay, let me read that to you again. I have a vivid memory. He's bragging about this vivid memory he has. Okay, very vivid memory. I remember all this, blah, blah, blah. Todd asked Colton if he ever spent the night at Galen's. Colton said yes. Colton occurred every time he visited. He said no. Colton commented he would come over periodically and just see how the kids were. He'd come over to see how the kids were. All right, not Galen, the kids. Colton said one of the biggest reasons she didn't want to get in a relationship just yet is because he doesn't have a working cell phone. This is what Colton said. Colton told us he does have a Verizon phone, but his phone is always roaming in Florida. I don't even understand how any of that, but okay. Colton stated he did not respond to Galen's text message with an appropriate period of time. She would give him some riffraff. He tried to explain his situation. She got upset with him. So he doesn't have a phone, and that's why this relationship doesn't work out, according to him. Colton told us Galen's a really good person, good heart. So he's speaking very good about her. But let's get a little bit more to the nuts and bolts of this interview, if you would. Colton's mother is a paramedic of some sort. And Jackie bought the coffee pot. They're asking about the appliances here. And some of this now, once he's talking, is like, hey, is this old? Was this ever an issue? Blah, blah, blah. How old is this? How old is that? And he knew a decent amount about that. I don't believe he's lying about any of that. Burners on the stove. Talking about the doors and the way, they weren't like really locked. And it was kind of just like a jerry-rigged situation going on there. Here we go. I asked Colton if any friends would hang around the house. Colton stated Galen would have people come over. Colton stated Galen had quite a few girlfriends that would come over. Colton told us Galen would even have some guy friends. I asked Colton if he knew anyone. Colton said he didn't really know as they were not from around here. Todd asked Colton how he felt about that. Colton said it didn't really matter because they weren't really anything. That's bullshit, in my opinion, on Colton's behalf. Colton said the way he looks at it, a woman is going to do what a woman is going to do. Yeah, right. Again, I think that's a cop-out by him. But let's go just a little bit further. I asked Colton if he knew anyone who wanted to date Galen. Colton said no. She told me a lot of times about people being rude and hateful to her. Colton said this was because of her skin color. I confirmed it was here in Flora. So yes, it had something to do with it. Did it have something to do with the investigation too? It might have. Initially, it really might have. And again, you're hearing Tracy would tell stories about being called the N-word in the streets. And I'm pretty sure no one would call that maybe to Tracy's face because Tracy would probably beat the shit out of him. And then I told Colton we're trying to figure out the night of the fire. I said it doesn't matter if they're black, white, or Mexican. I told Colton we need to figure out what happened. So let's get into what Colton says the night of the fire, and just bear with me here for a couple minutes. And if anybody wants this, like I said, I can send this to you, and you can really get into this thing. And maybe there's something in there that I missed that you found. Colton said he would sit right there and tell us he was not there tonight at the house. Colton stated he drove by on his way to work. He wakes up at 4 a.m. Colton said he has to leave the house no later than 4:45. Colton said he drove by because the fire was on the news. I asked Colton if he was at home when the fire started. Colton said, yeah, I'm home in bed. Colton made the comment that someone had said like 3:30 in the morning. Then he said, is what the news said. Sorry, guys. I'm sad. I said I'm not really sure what time the fire actually started. Colton then stated, well, that's just the time I heard, around 3:30. He said, well, yeah, I was home in bed because I have been at work. I asked Colton about what time he had to be at work. Colton said 6 a.m. Colton says he gets to work every morning about 5:20 a.m. So Colton knows that the fire starts at 3:30. Could it have been from the news? Yeah, it's possible because it was widely reported at that point. This is about a week later. Todd asked Colton if Galen smoked cigarettes. Colton said she did not. Then Todd asked Colton if he smoked. Colton said, I do. Todd asked Colton if Galen allowed him to smoke in the house. Colton shook his head up in an up and down fashion, indicating she did. Told Colton if anyone else smoked in the house. Colton said her Aunt Jackie and her father. Todd asked Colton if there was anyone he could think of. Colton told us some of her friends that came over and smoked. I asked Colton if he knew any of her friends. Colton said, no, I think most of them are from Lafayette. So you're getting into who was there that night. We know, about Snoop and Jennifer Barnes being there. And then here we get specific. Todd asked Colton if he knew of anyone that might have been smoking the one hitters in her bedroom. Colton said, honestly, no. Just so you know, a one hitter is like a real small weed pipe. It holds like a bud, like a one hit, basically. I confirmed that Colton didn't have any pipes in there and that he knew he had smoked in the past. Colton stated he had. I asked Colton if those were his pipes. Colton says, I don't smoke out of one hitters. Todd asked Colton if he ever saw Galen smoke marijuana. Colton said, I'd never seen it. Todd told Colton he found a lighter in the bathroom. Todd told Colton he knows someone was hanging out and needs to talk to them. Colton said, I agree. Todd asked Colton if there was anyone he could talk to. Colton shared he wished he could help, that he tried to be as helpful as he could. I explained to Colton why it's important to talk. Colton asked us if anyone asked Galen if she smoked pot. Todd told Colton that our objective here, we're trying to resolve this without involving Galen. Colton asked us if anyone asked Galen if she smoked pot. Todd told Colton that our objective is we are trying to resolve this without involving Galen. Why? Because in my opinion, they were looking at her for this. That's my opinion. Todd stated that he just wanted to try and find out what started this whole mess, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's kind of back and forth. This is a law. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but anybody, Kevlar148hotmail.com, I'll send it to you. I'll put this in my Discord too. But what are we thinking about that? I don't know how many questions or comments or how many people are left here. Or if we did comment. Murtaugh sentenced 27 years to life. Thank you, Melissa. David, we could agree on that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, my friend. Yes. I would lean toward more sloppy in Delphi, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't. If I was murdered, no offense, I wouldn't want any of the people that worked, the local people that worked Delphi to cover my case. Let me just say that, Dave. I think probably most people in this chat would agree with that. Bring in the FBI. I want the feds. I don't think he's a patsy, Dave. I don't think he is. And, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think Oswald was. We could agree on Oswald, but not him. He put himself there. He has no alibi. They haven't even attempted an alibi. It's tough. It's just tough. We could agree to disagree. But Oswald, me and you could go down that rabbit hole, David. I'm there. I'm right behind you. 10:30 where I am. 10:30. Where the hell are you, Freckle Joy? Ooh, Ruckus, me and you might have to have a debate on Lee Harvey. It's odd because usually I'm all in for conspiracies of many different kinds. Dennis Randall. Yeah, Kathy, Dennis Randall. And we could talk about the Vinlanders and their involvement possibly in Flora. I've talked to Meow about that. I'm not ready to jump on the Vinlander thing, really. But when you want to talk cause or racism, I'll walk down that path with you. I will, because I could see it. I could see it. And I keep thinking about what Indiana State Police and Doug Carter said. We don't think you tried to kill the girls. We why would you say that? So are you trying to scare the black lady that lives out of town out? Is that what you're trying to do? And who's the guy at the store? Galen doesn't remember his name. There's a guy at the store who was always real ignorant to her for no reason. So the color of her skin and those girls' skin, in my opinion, definitely played into this investigation early on. Maybe it did later. But I think early on, 1,000%. Phoenix, cool. Give me 1 second. I have a couple pictures to show you. Let me see. It's in my junk. Oh, I see the picture that you sent me. Yeah. So I'm going to share. So that is, yeah, that's, so whoever made that flag is against flag code, 100,000%. But I see what you're saying. Let me show it to people, Phoenix. I see what you're saying. So it is it's a flag. They didn't make the flag. Hold on one sec. Let me back out of here. I see what Phoenix is saying now. They didn't make the flag. I still wouldn't carry that flag around. That's my personal thing. So let me show you that. Well, this is the first one. This is the picture of them. Bring back Baldwin, Rossi, Justice for Libby and Abby. I didn't see the Richard Allen thing on there, but Miranda, I'm not going to doubt it. I didn't see a ton of pictures. Oh, hold on one second, Phoenix. I knew what I did. I'm going to send this to my other email. For whatever reason, I have a horrible time using my Hotmail on here. So I use my Gmail. But I just sent it. So yeah, so they just added. So as the flag came, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't, you could sell anything in the country, but that flag, according to flag code, would be incredibly disrespectful. That's incredibly disrespectful. Yes, that is an American flag because this part here, this was original. That's an American flag. Yes. So what this is an email in Phoenix, what she's explaining or he's explaining. I won't even guess, whatever you are is fine. That they ordered this flag like this. What they did was they added to it after. But yes, this is an American flag. And this is against flag code. This is against flag code. It looks like it's spray painted. I've never seen or heard the Gadsden flag. I don't know where that came from. So I learned something new today. All right. So the flag wasn't made, but it was there. But yes, I do. I would say that's an American flag. So here's one of the things that I like to show you before I get out of here. The flag should never be displayed with the Union down. This is just, this is A through G. And man, I don't even know how many letters and things there are. The flag code's a little book. The flag should never touch anything beneath it. Most of us know that. The ground, water, floor, merchandise. The flag should never be carried flat or horizontally, but always aloft and free. The flag should never be used as wearing apparel, bedding, or drapery. It should never be festooned, drawn back, nor up in folds, but always allowed to fall free. Bunting of blue, white, and red, always arranged with the blue above, the white in the middle, and the red below should be used for covering a speaker's desk, draping. So they're even, that's the bunting thing that they put up when you're talking. It should be, so they even have rules with that. The flag should never be fastened, displayed, used, or stored in such a manner to permit it to be easily torn or damaged in any way. The flag should never be used as a covering for the ceiling. The flag should never have placed upon it, nor any part of it, nor attached, or any mark, insignia, letter, word, figure, design, picture, or drawing in any nature. And that's your flag thing. I could share the entire thing on my community page if you guys are into it. Actually, if Honeybee does a show about the flag, I'd watch it because she does really good stuff. Thank you, Phoenix, for sending that to me. So the Purdue professor, and they played, there was a lawyers jacking each other off. They knew who he was. The Purdue professor has said that he thought that it was people trying to imply that they were Odinists, that they weren't actually Odinists. And that's basically what that guy came out to have to say. Something else. There's always something going on here. Want to know your opinions on the findings of the private investigator who was hired by Galen's attorney. Mike Vergon? Yeah, I think Mike Vergon's on the money. If we're talking about the same guy, I would go along with almost everything that he said, other than the storing of his stuff with the smoke detectors and shit like that. But I would agree. I'm not a fire investigator either. I have 24 hours like introduction into arson. That's not a lot, but I could tell you where a fire burns hottest, where the point of origin is. Past that with chemicals and dogs and checking. I don't do that, but I've seen them work, the guys and ladies of our fire marshal's office, probably for, 23 years now almost. So Dennis Randall. No, absolutely not. Dennis Randall should never investigate anything. A guilty person would not willingly put themselves in that area. Maybe. I see where you're coming from there. Unless you gave up the witnesses. You knew the witnesses saw you. So that's a thing that, yeah, I could see where you're coming from there. But again, write your list of things down, which you do. You think he's guilty, put it on this side of the paper. You think he's not guilty, put it on that side of the paper, and look at the preponderance of it. But I could see where you're coming from there. But I think that as this comes out and this unfolds, I truly believe that there's a ton coming. It's coming. The kill shots are coming. The scandal Randalls. Miranda, I hope I answered your question. Was that your question here? Yes. If that was your question about Mike Vergon, yeah. Mike Vergon's a good person, I think. I'd love to have him on sometime. I don't know if it'd ever be on. Ian Huntley. Was that the Hatchet guy? Was that his name? If we're talking about Mike Vergon, yeah, I like him. If that's who we're talking about. Oh, Ruckus even texted me. I'm going longer than I usually do, but you guys are great. Yeah, so Mike Vergon, yeah, we're talking Mike Vergon. He's on the money. Absolutely. My opinion. Yeah, Phoenix, I checked my email. In my opinion, it substantiated my narrative. That's an American flag. And if they're legal to sell, but it's against the flag code. Just simply is what it is. So they didn't make it homemade. They ordered it that way. It's still against the flag code. The relationship, the link to the relationship, I'm not sure, but I believe that Colton thought it was something more than it was, and Galen didn't think it. You know, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but jilted lover, I mean, I don't know. And then his mom, you know, being a medic and having some, I don't know. But I will say this on Delphi, you want to talk about a racist thing, and I'm not saying it's the Vinlanders or this was a, something else like that. But yeah, I could walk with you down that road. That this was done because they were black. I can walk with you down that road. I can. I would say no insurance fraud, even though I just showed you what I just showed you. I don't think it's that. And it's a cause arson. I really think it's a cause. Someone had a cause. Whatever it was, it was a personal cause. And that's just my 2 cents. The flag had 13 red stripes. That's not a real flag. I don't know. I'd have to go back and count them, Dave. I'm not sure. I am not sure. But, I mean, you purchase a flag like that for a reason, right? If not, you're just going to carry the American flag. Just do that on the Don't Tread on Me flag. Make that a whole Don't Tread on Me flag. Then you can write Abby and Libby and Richard Allen's name on it. And I would never say anything to you. Just I asked, but did not do it on the American flag. Well, I don't ask. Flag code dictates it. So we can say or whatever. Well, then, Phoenix, I don't know how you're arguing with me on it. You probably know the flag code a lot better than I do. Because I only had to learn it for work. You know, I wasn't 4 years or 8 years somewhere. I've never heard of the word Gadsden flag. Oh, the Gadsden flag. Oh, okay. I apologize. I thought you were saying that flag was called the Gadsden flag. Half American, half Don't Tread on Me. I got you. I always called that the Ben Franklin join or die flag. And maybe that's just my own words, but because that's where I attribute it back to. Okay, I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Thank you for your service, Phoenix. Unless you want me to say Phoenix. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm surprised that you're okay with that. You know, wouldn't question anyone. I never served. You served, you did your time. You have the right to come back here and tell anyone that they can go take a fucking flying leap. And you should get health care for the rest of your life wherever you want it. Veteran-wise, that's a no-brainer. Why we don't do it's beyond me. You know, hey, I have to have an appointment. I need to go to the Mayo Clinic. Well, here's your plane ticket. Get out there. Yeah, Reddit, Kathy is right. It was all posted on there. Yeah, at night. Yeah, there's ways you can carry it and stuff. And again, it's interesting because most people don't know that. But that flag is. I mean, I'm not going to see it any other way. I mean, I understand that they didn't make it, and I'm not sure. I don't get into politics because I don't like, for the most part, Democrats or Republicans. So I don't know if that's like a political flag people have been carrying around. But per the flag, that's a flag. It's an American flag, and you wrote Richard Allen, Libby Abbey on it. That's against the flag code. I mean, we could disagree on a lot of things. We could disagree on that and agree to disagree, but I'm not going to move from that. I don't think I'm going to move from that. Big win this weekend, big game Saturday. David Rogers, I'm going to give you a name to link, and just so you don't think I'm not into conspiracies, and I automatically wave them off. JF Kennedy assassination and Charles Manson. Do me a favor and look up Dr. Jolly West. JOLLYWEST. He's the guy that killed the elephant with acid. We could have a show about that. Maybe me and you could agree on that. But look it up. It's a rabbit hole and a half. Thank you very much, Devoted to Mariah. I saw you around last night too. All right, I'm going to get out of here. This is probably the longest live I think I've ever done. This is awesome. Stop that. And we are at, goodness gracious, look at us. We're rolling. Hour, 37 minutes. Anyways, so we really didn't get into what I wanted to get into. So let me break this real quick. All right. When I first started doing Delphi, I got into Flora, and there's no way that these two are attached whatsoever. This is my initial opinion. I come in from the criminal profiling, studying them guys. There's different MO, different all this, different all that. I got introduced to Carroll County. Things are different. A lot of the same people are a lot of the same places. I'm from a larger inner city, so I don't understand that. Now I start to understand it a little bit better. This guy's here. Erskine's at both. Yes, he is. Yoder's at both. Yes, he is. Are these crazy coincidences? Can these be ruled out? Yeah, they can be ruled out. Well, maybe they can't be. So let me tell you where I sit right now. I sit squarely on the fence of if Flora and Delphi are connected. Now, would that mean that I think that Richard Allen did the Flora fire? Because I think that he's guilty 75% here? No. Let me explain the difference. I think he has help after staging the scene. I believe it was probably made to look like a Villander thing. It was a last minute, holy shit, what do we do? Either that or the sticks were used as blinds. They were covered with leaves, which we didn't see the pictures of. I didn't see any of the pictures, but people saw 2 pictures out of probably 2,000. Or someone said something about stretchers too, which was interesting, but I'm not sure about that. But I think more it was made to look like that. FBI said staging. Staging means to deceive. I believe that that's probably the situation. How he got help, who the help was, I don't know. One of the people that I believe helped him, people would be surprised that I think that this guy was involved. But I do. Moving to Flora, I think the connection is if there's any of these sick hate groups or people that are connected, loosely affiliated even with these hate groups, or somebody has, maybe now all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe they got a fucking Nazi tattoo, huh? If you're in the floor, you know what I'm talking about. And maybe all of a sudden they're trying to get in there, or they're trying to get in good with people. And I know I sound convoluted, but the covering up of something in Flora could have been someone involved in a murder later, or covering that up too later, if that makes sense to you. I'm down to two opinions on Flora, my personal opinions, no expert. It's a cause. It's either a racist or it's a jilted lover. Those are the two things that I think. If it's a jilted lover, could he has links back to these other sick fucks? Yeah, he does. If it's a racist thing, then we know these racists have this over there. But in Florida, you have 4 black girls murdered. In Delphi, you have 2 white girls murdered. To me, the narrative of the black girls is way higher than the narrative of the white girls. My personal opinion, in my experience researching, white supremacist crimes or racist crimes or things like that. And I'm no expert on that. More serial killer stuff is what I'm into. But that's where I am. But I cannot say. I'm squarely on the fence. I think that there's going to be, even if it's not the same person, let me say this, even if the same people aren't doing the same, this here and this there, there's something that's linked in the cover-up of Flora with possibly the murder of Delphi. And I'll leave you one more thing. If anyone knows who the employee that's pissed off at Tobe Lesenby, that was guaranteed a 9-to-5 job, that didn't get his job, and then may or may not be leaking information, email me. Don't post it here. Email me who you think it is. I don't need any proof. Because if it's a name that I hope it is, goodness gracious, we can break this open. We could break it open. He'd be the guy to talk to. And I just don't know if it's him or not. And no one I've talked to has been able to answer me and say, yeah, it was him. No, it wasn't him. So we'll see. I'm going to answer a couple questions and get out of here. I talked your ears off today, didn't I? Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy, Jinx reached out, and you want to start doing stuff weekly or whatever with Flora? I'm in. Just let me know. Boston Christian, thank you. David Atlee Phillips, E. Howard Hunt. Huh. David, I don't know those names. I'll tell you what, I'll look up yours, you look up mine. I'm all for that. I'd love to get into that. That would be cool. Especially if Ruckus is believes that he did it. Then I could be the juxtaposition and be like, oh yeah, cop, yeah, listen to you. I could switch it up a little bit. I very interested in that. JFK came to our town. We have a statue there. I love Kobe. Kobe was the man. My oldest son's name is actually Colton, and his name was almost Kobe. He was very close. Thank you, Gail. Yes, Buddy Rich knows. Yes. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. Yes, that's it. That's the guy. Yeah, I don't think Rich. Well, I will agree with you on Flora. We'll cut that up. I'll agree with you on Flora, but I think that there's some kind of connection in the cover up of Flora, and maybe the murder or the covering or the setting of the scene. I know I'm being convoluted and I sound fucked up, but I don't want to sound like Doug Carter. Give you guys a bunch of riddles. Yes, it is, and it's some serial killers. Well, they're 100% of serial killers that kill by fire. And there's serial arsonists too, and they're different. Our serial arsonists want to burn shit. Serial killers want to kill people by fire. It's a huge power trip. It's a huge thing. And they could also evolve, like you're saying, and saying, well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but I'm going to use that as a signature after the fact to cover up my crime. So Gail Hurd, you're 100% on it. What's up, Jen? Well, thank you. Yeah. Criminality. I liked her a lot. She has a good dispatcher voice, like commanding voice. Hey, there's a fire on 27th Street. Get there. Like that's what we need. Yeah. Ooh, we're getting into it now, buddy. I'm with you. Maybe Buddy could join us with Ruckus and David on that show. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut out of here. I want to thank everyone so much. This is definitely the longest live I've ever did, and it didn't seem like it was even that long. It was almost 2 hours. I enjoyed talking to you guys. Anybody that wants any of the information I got, I'll send you all the Flora stuff. I don't care if you like me, if we agree on Delphi, if we don't. I appreciate everyone's comments in here, whether they agree with me or didn't agree with me. Phoenix, we disagree on the flag thing. We probably will never agree on that. Well, that's fine. That there's not a problem there. We're okay. I'm okay with that. And I didn't want to get drugged down in that. And I didn't want to make that the thing about the protest, but I think everyone's going to be talking about it. And I personally don't believe it was a protest for Richard Allen. But something got lost in translation from the protest to the people on YouTube. And, people on YouTube are going to run wild anyway. So if you were at the protest, what I would say to you, if I was there, I know why I was here. And this is my opinion. That's why I was here. And everyone else can get fucked on whatever they think. Because in my heart of hearts, that's why I think it was there. But I think you're going to see a lot of fighting about that in the coming days. And it's just all that's interesting to me. How YouTube work is interesting. The way people act and react and the way they interact with others. I watch all. I try to take like a step back from the case and like, well, that's really interesting because that tells me about that person. It tells me the people that traveled yesterday give a fuck about this case. They're genuinely into it. They're not just for money or we want this and they care. And I like that. And we disagree. Maybe we'll disagree on this on Delphi. Maybe the next case we agree on. Maybe the next case we go march together. But don't throw anybody underneath any buses or anything like that. The flag thing, I got that pounded into my head. So that is what it is. To me, that's that. And I don't think it's done on purpose. I'm going to be very clear. I think it was just, hey, we have an issue. And I didn't know until today you could actually buy flags like that. I never knew that. So I learned something today. I learned it was called a Gadsden flag. I didn't know that. Like I called it the Ben Franklin flag. So if I was going around telling people the Ben Franklin flag, people were like, what the hell are you talking about? But I'm going to let us get out of here. I thank you all so much. It was a great chat. Everybody commenting, share, like, subscribe if you like it. And before we get out of here, Pennsylvania will drink our tea out of a carton. And we will say tentacles. And anytime you say the word tentacles on my channel, everyone got a drink. Whether it's iced tea, liquor, whatever you got. But I appreciate everybody for coming in this afternoon. Had a great time. And we're going to have to do this again because I didn't really get to lay out my thing. But Flora, Delphi connected. I got to be honest with you. I'm sitting on a fence. I really, really am. Anyone that has any info, send it to me. Kevlar148hotmail.com. Appreciate it. I'll keep it private if you want it private. Not a problem. But thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Coach Kev, out.